meetings and anything above 1080p, people get very, very ugly.
Well, you say that OBS works, but I'm sitting here with an OBS screen on your camera.
Yeah, I don't see you.
Oh,
there
sorry.
It is.
I was fiddling with settings. I've had my whole thing like setting. Had my whole. I've moved my. I was in Texas for the last week, and had to be in Texas and doing things. So
what for?
Work.
Okay.
Yeah. We did our yearly. I called it the Confluence, just as a name to like put things, and that stuck, and it's been that way for years.
Yeah. Speaking of 4K, so like I watch the morning news. They should not do the morning news broadcast in 4K. These people are so tired, and they have big bags under their eyes. They look terrible because they've gotten 4 hours of sleep every night for 20 years. Just like, why are you doing this in 4K to these people? It's not night.
Yeah.
So when high def first started, a lot of jokes about that, where the newscasters are like, "No, we're not doing high def.
Don't put me in high def." Yeah.
All right, but so if you're confused about why we're talking about webcams, we are not in person like normal here on We're Libertarians in the Chris Spangle Show feed, and in its own feed, you can get We're Libertarians. If you just hate me and you love Harry and Rhinehold, you can get them in We Are Libertarians podcast feed. Just search for that. We are facing Snowmageddon, and so we just decided we couldn't meet in person because it's too cold. I'm going to be real with you. Here's the honest truth. Harry has written into his contract that if it falls below 32 degrees, he doesn't have to leave his house. And he exercised his option because it's 8 degrees right now. So, I don't like to call you out, Harry, but
got to read the fine print. Okay. All right.
He's got in the fine print that you have to include the wind chill too. So
yeah,
that puts it about -12 right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, it's actually some reason, like when I was at work, because I had that work meeting down in Texas, and they were like, we're going to try to leave early. And I'm like, why? It's just a little bit of snow. And they're like, actually has Harry's contract. The moment it dips below 32, he gets hazard pay while he's down there. So it's cheaper just to let everyone leave early.
Yeah. I mean, Harry does not like to be cold.
I do love snow. I love snow. Love snow.
Looking at it or being in it?
Looking at it in my car, looking at it. I love driving in the snow, but I like being in my car, which is heated and it's heated seats.
What's funny is Eleonora is 7, and she's so much like her mom. She doesn't have any of my genes because she's my stepdaughter, but she is all about the snow. She gets out there and plays. She'll be out there for 2 hours playing in the snow with her little friend. Matthew, my seed, who looks just like me, walks outside, and you know that meme of the little kid that's a GIF, and they like run out or like run back in? That's Matthew. He's like me. I always hated playing in the snow as a kid. I never liked it. I don't like touching it. It's too cold. I don't like cold hands. BS.
It's fine if you get the right. Yeah. If you got the right gear, it's okay. But it's still kind of like, I'd rather be the summer, super hot. I can deal with that. There's stuff to do.
97 at the state fair with sweat dripping down my butt. I love it.
Yep.
All right. And I'm gonna do something now that Chris is gonna laugh about. But back in the blizzard of 78.
You son of a bitch.
We had snowdrifts, and I used to play in the snowdrifts. That was fun. You dig little tunnels through the snowdrifts and everything else. It was a fun time, and we couldn't leave the house for like 2 weeks. So
here's what you have to understand about the blizzard of 78. For everyone who wasn't alive for the blizzard of 78, it has become Al Bundy's 4 touchdowns in a single game. Every winter, multiple times a winter, boomers love to talk about the blizzard of 78, and I drove my car through the snow, and I had to this or that. It's like, I get it was bad, but shut up. You don't get a medal for surviving the blizzard of 78. Like
it hasn't been that bad since. Let's put it that way.
It's about to be. I mean, of course, this could be the next blizzard of 70. I don't know, man. I mean, Evansville's looking at 19 to 25 inches of snow. That's crazy.
Honestly, I'm hoping it's worse. I'm hoping it's worse.
They keep telling us that there's going to be this much snow, and then how many times is it like half of that, or you never get what they're telling you or expecting. So
yeah.
And part of the problem with 78 was the wind. If you look at the wind that we had then, it was massive. That's where all the snow, the drifting came, right? I mean, the road that we lived on was a state road, but it goes down kind of into a gully area and drives for a while, then comes back up out of the gully area. That was smoothed over. There was like 10 to 15 feet of snow on top of the road because of that drifting.
We were looking at a chart here, 18 to 30 inches, and that's kind of what Evansville's looking at, 18 to 25. What I love about this chart that we're putting up on the YouTube version, which you can see on the Chris Spangle channel or the We're Libertarians channel. How did they have the modeling for this? Come on.
This is probably more accurate than the Blizzard 78. We don't know. They had terrible charts back then. Who knows what they were like measuring with, Are those real inches?
What they can do is
back then, Rhinehold, you guys did the dad thing where you just walked with shoe to shoe to shoe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's how you measure the inches in the snow.
Yeah, and they had those junky rear-wheel drive, ball tires back then, no safety precautions, no posit track, okay?
We did not have front-wheel drives back then, let me tell you. It was, and four-wheel drive was a luxury.
Yep.
How old were you? 38?
138?
In the 78?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just getting my first 200 years was, just reaching that milestone.
It's also Rhinehold's 250th anniversary.
I'm gonna be able to last longer than the United States has, so that's gonna be good.
Already, we're not even 10 minutes into the show before you bring up the fascism. Yeah, I started the podcast that I'm putting out right before this one. I'm like, yeah, welcome back to the first episode of the new year. Anything happen? Have we invaded any countries? Oh, two. Okay. Well, at least the government's not shooting people in the face. Oh, no.
Remember the last one we did? It was like, well, I wonder what's going to happen between now and then. We probably won't have anything to talk about. And then that was before everything blew up. So
it's just crazy what happens in a week now.
Right.
And it's not just Trump. The fact that Trump has always understood social media and the new media environment and the news cycles and how to manipulate it. It's just that it's like a brick got put on the gas pedal in 2007 and never got took off.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, that's the thing is a lot of people were exhausted after the first Trump. And I think that's how, Biden was able to get enough people to vote for him is because people were just exhausted. And then 4 years, it was like kind of calm. It wasn't really that crazy.
Right.
It was much more normal the last 4. And then now,
other than the vaccine
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that started with Trump. It was just like once everything started coming out and everything, we were coming out of COVID stuff and people were starting to relax. It was like not too bad. And then, January 1st or January 20th last year, just put the foot down and go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to talk about the snow before we get too far into this.
Well, as a Subaru owner, okay, and a massive snow tires in my car, I can't wait to drive around. And
that was the best
of
humble brag I've ever heard in my life. As a Subaru owner with massive snow tires,
I can do better. As a John Deere owner with massive tires.
Yeah, hold on. Classic John Deere, because if it's new John Deere.
Yeah, what's your model? I want to see
classic. It's a 70 something. It was probably made the same year that the Blizzard of 78 came out.
So it's like a front engine. Like, is it big or is it like a
Nah, it's like a 350 or 450. It's not a lawnmower size. It's big, but it's not. It's more of a what they call a garden tractor, not necessarily a garden tractor, but it's larger. It sits up, about you have to get up like 6 feet in the air to get into it, but it's not like the big, massive International Harvesters or John Deere's that my neighbor has, who's going to be the one plowing the road for us because I don't have the ability to plow. I don't have a snow plow for mine because why buy one? He has one.
Yeah.
Okay, here
which is neighborhood teamwork, being dependent on your friends and allies. It's okay to be that. That's okay.
It's a community. It's a commune.
Like this.
That the one you have in the top right it's a little newer than that one, but yeah, it's about that kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's got a big bar over the top of it. So like if you go to a tree or whatever, it'll knock the limbs out of the way, so it's not hitting your head.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Or if you like roll it.
And I've got a huge bush hog thing on the back of it that I can use. So I can drive over all kinds of stuff and knock down all the bushes and stuff.
I've turned into my 2-year-old son. I'm just looking at tractors now.
That one, that one right there.
just looking at tractors.
Well, that's an interesting idea. Take care of each other.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Allies, neighborhood. It's a great thing, an amazing thing that you can do with people. Division of labor thing. You don't have to be the all end all. You can be perfect in your one thing and allow other people to do other things. It's great. It's amazing.
And like a barter, I do this for you. You do this for me.
How many times is I'm sure they probably brought a computer or two over to your house, like, yeah, Rhinehold.
I've gone to my neighbors to do some stuff like that, and then he mostly comes down because he knows the situation that I've had for the past 10, 15 years. So he's always like, you need anything, come down. Like I had an issue I think 3 or 4 years ago where we had one of our dogs pass away. It was a full-size poodle. It was huge. And it was the middle of winter. And I'm like, I'm trying to take the dog outside and dig a hole and bury it. I'm like, I can't. It was just too much. And I called him. He came right down and got an excavator. And we just dug up a hole real quick. So he's like, this is what we do. This is what neighbors do for each other. So. And then my neighbor's, the wife, she works at a dentist, and my wife's had to have a lot of work done on getting her teeth replaced and everything like that. So we went to her her dentist to go get all that work done. So it's like we just kind of trade back off with each other. So
now,
and she sells steaks and beef because they have cows. So we buy beef from them. So
nice.
And how would you describe where you live? Like it's pretty rural, right?
It's very rural. I live on a gravel road, and there are 5 people on that road that you can see if you drive down the length of it.
So not even like a county, like off a county road.
It is a county road, but yeah, it's a. But it's not. But it's gravel between it's kind of a back. It's near the interstate, but there's no exit there, right? So it's just a kind of access road type of thing all the way through that we live on.
So here's what neighbors do.
I can tell when the interstate has got a wreck or something on it because all of a sudden traffic starts coming down my road. Usually I see like 3 cars a day, and I see all these trucks and these cars coming by. I have to look at the interstate, and there's usually a big wreck or stoppage or something.
So this is what neighbors do in downtown Indianapolis. They wreck into the back of my car. The city did not plow my street last winter when there was a big snow, and it was icy for weeks, honestly. And Jeep, it was just parked and it plowed into the back. And so I've been driving like this for about 9 months. But I will say I don't have a car payment, which has been awesome. So
isn't it great?
It works fine. I drove to Outer Banks like this. And you know what's amazing is people get the hell out of your way when you have a car like that. They do not mess around. If you have no bumper on the back of your car, people let you merge. They don't mess with you. It's great.
So you're probably in the sweet spot where you don't have the car payment anymore, but you're not at the point where you're fixing things breaking down every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 120,000 miles on a Chevy car. So any minute,
which is massive. Get a good year or two in that sweet spot area, then you start going, I'm spending way too much time getting this car fixed and dealing with this and dealing with that. It's always going to get anyone.
Yeah, which that's a lot of miles on a Chinese-made car. You're trying a car. I bought American, and so did Rhinehold. We bought American cars.
What does Rhinehold have?
Toyota.
Indiana made.
I bought American car. Subaru. So So,
yeah, Chevy's made in China.
Yep.
I bought whatever I could afford to finance off the lot that day because I had no other choice financially because I was bad with money back then.
Taking American jobs away. Look at you. Look at you.
Well, maybe they need to be replaced.
Anyways,
well, he's returning the favor by making sure he doesn't put his carts up, so he gives those people jobs.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, exactly.
Right out of the anarchy. The other thing with the snowpocalypse, which I've got neighbors on my street, and I'm getting ready. Like, I had to like strongly word in the Facebook group, like, "Hey, it's gonna be a snow. Let's get the cars off the street, people. Also, don't block the sidewalks. Okay, all right. Our sidewalks need to be ADA compliant. You need to move freely on the sidewalks. Look at these plowed. Come on, get ready." What?
Yeah, I'll get to it a couple days after.
No,
get out there and get your heart attacks in place while shoveling that snow.
Look, this is the level I'm bringing to community. Okay, this is. Let me show you how I park when I go to the grocery store. I park under the cart corral. This is my car. That's me parking there. Went to the grocery. I bought every rutabaga they had. Like, there's nothing left in my local grocery store. I got about 14 gallons of milk. Here's what I don't understand. Okay, why? I think this, and this is maybe where we can really start the show after all this nonsense. But this is a friend's Facebook page, and you don't need to imagine that hard. But this is a local Kroger here in Indianapolis. No bananas, no vegetables or juice, no milk, no dairy. All the vegetables in the vegetable rack are gone. No bread, no buns, nothing except like one little weird loaf of rye bread. Like, do people... We have probably a solid month's worth of food in the house. Like, if all hell broke loose, like, it wouldn't be good food. It'd be like cans and weird concoctions, but like we could make it.
Mm-hmm.
Do people not have enough to survive from Saturday night to Tuesday morning? Why do they need to go and panic shop like this? Because we're not going to get a catastrophe. 800 miles south of us, poor Shelby down in Alabama and Birmingham, she's going to possibly not have power for a month. That could be catastrophic. Mm-hmm. You know, Tupelo, Mississippi is like ground zero. That's 800 miles from us. Why are people prepping for a foot of snow when they're going to be functional by Tuesday, Wednesday at the very worst? You're probably not losing power. And if you do lose power, you're not going to be able to cook those Totino's pizza rolls. So, like, what are we doing here? Please explain this to me. Are people just that bamboozled by TV news and that easily persuaded?
All right. So here's the real thing. Remember, there's some really brilliant, amazing people in the United States. Some of the brightest in the world. Unfortunately, also some of the dumbest people in the world. If you're dumb and you live in the United States, it's very easy to stay alive. Anywhere else in the world, you wouldn't have made it this far. But here in the United States, we keep things safe for you. So you have made it this far.
Principle of nations is what you're saying.
So you've made it this far. So they are influenced by this. They also a lot of people freak out. But this is also human nature. It's the one you do, like when you get to these prepping communities, they talk about like, oh, do this, or the whole like you also make sure to understand like why we have fishing and hunting like rules, because if everyone freaked out just went hunting, we'd cull the deer population in less than a month.
Yeah, I mean, like before COVID, you know, it was easy to see 2 weeks before everybody realized what was going on. Mm-hmm. Oh, supply chains are going to be completely crushed. You better stock up on some. If you use it every day, you better buy like 5 extra, mm-hmm. because it could be, you know, and that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
But you weren't going to like not have milk and bread. But like in this case, it's like, so I don't get the whole.
It was a little different for that, because it wasn't that the fact that you couldn't go get that from the store. It was that people were scared that they didn't want to leave the house because they were afraid they were going to catch this thing, mm-hmm. and end up in the hospital on a respirator. Right. So they were scared. Mm-hmm. So they're like, I'm not going to, like, my parents could not get COVID. Both of them would have expired. So It was just too devastating, and they were in that state. So I was scared to go too much to the store because I didn't want to catch it and give it to them accidentally. Right?
Yeah. Because you were taking care
there was always that concern. Yeah.
Elderly people. Yeah.
And my wife so it's like, so you have that concern. So it's like, okay, if I can go, and they did do the thing where like for an hour in the morning, it was just people who had that issue, so you could do some very light distanced shopping in the store and everything. But that was at the beginning when everybody was really, really scared, and things kind of calmed down a little bit, obviously. But there's also the thing that people go through these different phases, and different generations have them. So remember, after anybody you talk to who lived through the Depression will tell you, like, you save pennies, you put things away, you can food, you have enough stored for whatever, they were like severely traumatized by that because they had to go through it. And after people got into the 50s and 60s, they're like, abundance living, you had enough for everything and you never really had to worry too much. That wasn't a big deal. Remember in 78, I'll tell you again. So we had issues where we couldn't go out and get food for 2 weeks. Now, 3 days is not a big deal. If I get enough stuff to last for 3 days, if I needed to, I could just drink water instead of Cokes or whatever.
But like if you're in
2 weeks, you start getting some issues.
Yeah, if you're in Vincennes or Evansville and they're looking at 20 inches of snow and that's actually happens, you really should have like a week or 2 weeks. So I get it down there. It's just sort of like a foot of snow in Indianapolis is like nothing.
Like I said, my parents canned. My mom, every year we would can food. We'd always have food all winter long, just in case. Partially because my dad worked construction, and the winter months were always hard. Yeah, because he didn't always have work. So he'd have 3 or 4 months where he didn't have any money coming in. So we would stock up during the summer.
He had to kill his for the winter. Harry, he had to kill his pet raccoon to make a hat. That's how bad it was.
But so it just depends on your experiences levels. Right now, a lot of people who live in the city should never have. I mean, even if they have the worst storm ever, you still can walk to a grocery store or a drugstore or something on the corner where you can buy something. Right, you go to a gas station, you can buy some sushi or something. You can always have something.
Yeah, if you live in Brown County or Monroe County, like. That you're not going to be getting out of driveways and up and down hills and ice and I mean it's you are stuck.
Speak for yourself. Super drivers will be fine.
Big tires, big snow tires.
But but that's also the divide between the actual rural people and the rural cosplayers that live in my community that cosplay. Oh yeah, you're not rural. Put the big stupid truck away. You're not rural. You don't need that gigantic thing. But like it's also like and it's also that part of everyone's brain, like I've got to get mine, F everyone else, and the also lack of that because we have tools to solve for this, they just won't let us use them because some people are like, well, you can't do this, and it's really we could just use capitalism. We know these goods are going to be scarce. We just need to raise the price for them. Just limit that demand down. So if someone goes like, yes, I can easily get a bunch of milks because $2 a gallon, but go to $8 a gallon. I only really need the one.
Yeah.
I can let me get the 4 cases of toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah. How much are you going to poop? How much?
Get a bidet. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it so much.
I am prepping for the storm. Okay. And I'm doing my part to be responsible. I have not made an Amazon order today, so no one has to deliver it tomorrow. Please, I don't want your applause. I am a hero. I am sacrificing, but
I had 3 different deliveries come this morning. So because I knew this was coming, so I had orders placed so I could have Kroger deliver this morning. I had Walmart deliver what Kroger was out of. And then I had TSC deliver like dog food, cat food, and stuff like that I need.
You know what? Walmart delivery seems to be killing it in rural areas where Amazon still can take it like a few days. My brother lives kind of out towards Rhinehold. And like I get stuff in 45 minutes sometimes because I am in the center of like half a dozen Amazon warehouses here in Indianapolis. But out in the sticks, it's a little harder, but Walmart, because they have so much footprint in so many places, they can get you stuff so much quicker in your area.
So what's funny is the Walmart that I live near has a distribution center right next to it.
Yeah.
So they're never really out of stuff. And then I'm part of Walmart Plus where I can get, I get free delivery. So why wouldn't I take advantage of free delivery? Or you can pay a couple extra bucks and get 1 hour delivery for all your food. You can have it here in an hour if I needed it.
Yeah.
And they have people that just jump in, they do the shopping, jump in the car, drive over, and I get to know them. There's usually the same group of people. So you start to get to know the people. I talked to the one this morning from the Walmart. I'd let the dogs out. So he called me and I was like, oh, I'll let the dogs in. Don't worry. Because he's like, I know they're like the sweetest dogs. They won't hurt you. But what they do is they jump on you because they're so excited that somebody's here. So they will knock you over, and there's 9 of them, and they're big, and they all just like, he said they ripped his pants last time.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I can have Kroger here in a couple of hours if I want to pay the extra money. Kroger, if I get the delivery ordered the night before, it's there first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. for free. I can get Walmart within 3 hours for free. I can get TSC, can get deliver, and once a quarter, because I'm spending so much money there, once a quarter I get free same day delivery, or I can have it just delivered over a couple days before I need it. I can even have it set up on schedule, where I can have things just scheduled coming here, just like Amazon does. So it's really a point where Kroger's really pushing back on Amazon on some of that delivery stuff. Now Amazon's going to give you a much better, but not so much anymore. But I think they have a much wider range of things that you can order from Amazon. The problem with Walmart is that they've got too many third party people that they push for, where Amazon does too, but it's not as much. Like Amazon backs up a lot more stuff than what Kroger will back up. So
yeah, and Kroger
we'll say, oh, I don't know about them. We can't.
If you go to these suburban Krogers, I mean, they're like Walmarts. They have clothing sections, and it's not like the Kroger we grew up with.
Yeah. So like there's this big turn that Walmart has been doing over the last few years, where I think they finally figured out they can't be complete scumbags, that they've ran out of people who could work for them or did work for them. The same problem that Amazon is running into right now, but it's going to be worse. And that they're realizing that the model that Amazon was using to take everyone out, that Walmart's in a better position because of the distribution in every other center, and showing them like, you know what, like we can actually do this better than they can because of our different models. I
have that problem with Amazon where I can get, if I order something and I get like, Amazon Prime delivery, but it'll be there in 5 days. Right. But if I choose as my delivery option the gas station about 3 or 4 miles from me that has a like Amazon delivery center, like you can go with the lockers. If I have it there, I can have it in a day.
That's so interesting.
I live 7 miles away. There's no reason why they couldn't deliver it to me on the way out to deliver it to that place. But the way they do it is like those things are like easy to hits on a certain route.
Correct.
Whereas if they had a bunch of people they had to hit, that's a different driver with a different route. It takes 2 or 3 days later. Yep. I can get if I want the same thing and Walmart has it in stock, I can have it in my house in an hour. Amazon can't do that for me.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like this dark dystopian road that we're on right now, because of the Orange Man in Chief, that we're going to run into the exact same problem that China has ran into, that a lot of the jobs and early entry-level jobs, like they're all just going to be delivery drivers. They're going to have delivery drivers every freaking where. Most people are going to be delivery drivers, and it's going to freaking suck for all these people, just like it sucked in China, But this is the road that we've been put on, and it, quite frankly, it's great, and it sucks at the exact same time. Yeah.
Where I'm at now, DoorDash is hard to get drivers for. Like you're hit or miss whether you can order something and have it DoorDash to you.
Yep.
Right. Occasionally, not a problem. You can get somebody. It's like if you do like a Friday night or Saturday or a Sunday night maybe, but a Tuesday afternoon, you might not get somebody. So in town, that's not a problem, right?
I put a tweet up on the screen that says, I just saw an attractive white girl pick up an order for Uber Eats. Short everything now. And it's the big short. Hey, there's a bubble. Sell everything. like we just rewatched Big Short. There's a lot about the economy that reminds me of that. Yeah, I had that thought the other day, Harry, where I work around the corner from Chick-fil-A, and I always get the app so I can collect my points, and I walk in, and there's a permanent underclass of people who are doing DoorDash, Uber, Lyft. I had a guy who picked me up in a pickup truck about a month ago for Lyft, and he lived out by Rhinehold. I mean, he lived way out in the country and drives about an hour to get into the city to do Lyft. And I was just kind of asking him, like, hey, what's the deal? He can't find work anywhere, not in his area. He's a little too old to do warehouse work. So like his only option is Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, that kind of thing. And the people that I see in line every day or other day at Chick-fil-A, I mean, a lot of immigrants, a lot of people who just can't find opportunities anywhere else. It's a fascinating thing that I never see anybody talk about.
I was watching YouTube, and there's a guy who's like retired, but he's still like a young retired. So he's like just wanting to do something. So he signed up for the Amazon, where you can go to Amazon and you could sit there, and if they need you that day, then you're on the clock and you can start doing deliveries. If not, they send you home. So he was showing how that worked. It was because of videotaping the whole process. He couldn't videotape the actual deliveries or anything, but in between he could stop and say, okay, now I made a delivery here, I made a delivery there. I'm going in, and I worked 4 hours today, and I've got this, this kind of thing. So there's all kinds of things that they're trying to do, all kinds of programs they're trying to do, that people who are on the edges, or people who are wanting to make a little bit extra for retirement, because who knows what's happening to Social Security and the markets and everything else. So you got to be prepared, right? So having that side hustle is what everybody calls it, right? It's a good for that. If you want a side hustle, like if I worked, I worked 40 hours a week. If I needed to, I could probably get a side hustle doing Uber Eats myself and just do that driving at night if I needed to.
That's what I did with Uber in 2018. I needed extra cash, and so I did Uber for about 8 months.
Yeah.
That's kind of where in 2018 what everybody was using it for. Now it seems like we've got a lot of people who do delivery, do these driving services because that's the work that they can find.
Right.
And not that there's anything, it's honest work, right?
Some people prefer it just being in a car driving around. It's better than sitting in a desk.
But it is interesting. It's like, this guy is driving food to people who can afford to pay an extra $15 a meal, where he's trying to scrape together pennies.
Right. And the problem with it is that people that can afford these services, those are the first things that will get cut back. If profit margins get hit by some of the larger companies, they take away the free shipping, and the shipping charges get put there. And that shipping charge might be put there anyways. They might be eating the shipping charge just for somebody as a loss leader to get you used to this habit, and then they just take it away. Same way they did with everything else when Microsoft OneDrive was free. We had free storage up to a terabyte, now you're just kind of used to storing things in OneDrive. Just like Uber, like they got Uber drivers in by having a massive payout and then threw that away. Just like Twitch, to be able to make sure that they had the massive market share and control most of the streaming, that massive payout. And when other people finally started to break through, they were like, all right, we're not doing this anymore. There's no more for that fight. But like, those people are going to be the people that get hit first. It's just the same thing we're watching over in China, is that economy starts getting hit, those delivery drivers are getting like more and squeezed and more and more and more. Now granted, we're not close to that yet, but eventually we'll probably see the exact same type of companies popped up over there that even I've thought about, like, hey man, we'll start one, is that I buy a bunch of electric scooters or mopeds and start my delivery service where I loan out from the company store my scooters to my unprivileged workers, so they have to pay me for the use of my scooters because their cars are completely busted and can't do the delivery driving. It is this is the dystopian world that we're on, because of
Ryan Lindsay,
the entry level.
Ryan Lindsay, former editor of the magazine that we had, very left libertarian at the time. I don't know, he's enjoying his life, he's politics free, has a great family. So he would say, like, you need to wake up and realize that the end result of capitalism is China. It's a surveillance capitalism. It's permanent underclasses. I would disagree because we're sitting here broadcasting and it gives us a large amount of freedom that you don't get. But I do think when you look at where things are trending, where you've got these billionaires who are crafting an economy using AI, where they can suck up the income and the rest of us can deliver them food. Like it, you sort of go, while they fund Palantir and use the government to build out a security state.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it's not a crazy argument, and we should be really cognizant of where we're headed and where we end up, because it could totally be true.
No, I don't think capitalism doesn't bring us there. It's because like some people are able to use it, some people aren't. Like these AI companies, if they had to pay for all that data that they harvested and hoovered up, they wouldn't have the money to build these data centers. The fact that they stole this information under other guys and oopsies and like this, and then now they want to go free market. But
what do you mean? Explain that.
What do you mean? Them hoovering up all the data,
like
think about the fine
data. Who stole what? Are you talking about Chinese or American companies?
American companies, Meta, Alphabet. They have been hoovered up everyone's data, or buying it from pennies from other companies to build these large language models. Meta just scanned a bunch of books in their system illegally, taking copyrighted material and absorbing it all in. They've all done this thing, and they're sharing.
Did you hear? You heard the latest thing about Doge, right?
No. What's up? What else they did?
2 Doge workers were caught, basically sucking Social Security data out of the Social Security Administration in order to be used for investigating fraud for voting fraud.
Investigating voter fraud, alleged voter fraud. Yeah. But they didn't have to pay for it. But if I decided to, I don't know, just want to get the copy of my video game and back it up on my own server, they'll come down with the full weight of the government to sue the crap out of me, or remove movies that I bought on Amazon Prime or rented with basis of the thing like that. The fraud that Amazon puts out that you buy anything from them, you store it digitally. But they can easily take all this information that I've put on the web for myself, that it's my property, and hoover it up and put it in a large language model.
How do you think ICE are finding people? Yep. They're using Planeteer databases that have sucked up all this information from all these different locations, including from Doge, including from Google, from Meta, all these people that they've got deals with now, into these large. It used to be that the government had that large, collection of information that they could go and get the metadata of, and there was laws in place that they could only get the metadata, they couldn't get the actual data, blah blah blah. All that stuff was bull, but it used to be just the government doing it. Now it's private companies that are taking that and driving forward with it, and that's why everybody wants these data centers. It's not because they want to, do anything really great. They want to have all this data warehousing done, and that's really what all AI is today. Is just large language modeling into a large data warehouse. That's all it is.
Unfun search engines with prediction searches. It's based off past searches. That's all it is. And it's scary, because of it. Once again, IBM at the forefront of a possible dystopian nightmare, allegedly. But and that's another reason why, you watch gun owners do not want a database. We don't. A lot of them don't want the database because of this thing. But they're pretty fine with having anyone else get it put on the database. Just the DOJ got blocked trying to put just trans youth on a database, so they get a number of people so they know where they are. It's.
Well, now they're taking your DNA data. If you're 14 or above and you've had any encounter with the police, they'll take your DNA data and store it. And they're getting all the data from 23andMe. They're getting all the data from all these locations where people just gave their information, gave the DNA to them. So it's like, I won't do any of that stuff because I don't want them having my DNA.
Yeah, but you can't stop that. You have an idiot cousin somewhere out there that going I want to find out and show everyone I got Irish heritage, and they find out they're Polish and black, and they're like, oh crap.
They want to prove that they're actual Aryan. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I'm pure. Okay. Just like that whole, like, what is that whites only town they try to make? I was like, all right, cool. Free DNA testing. I'd love to sit there, like one drop
and
rule,
watch
right?
all,
Let's do this.
and watch all the grades be C's and D's in all the schools, because, it's just going to be homogeneous. You can't, that's how you stagnate. I mean, look at all the people in the Middle Ages with the chins and everything. Come on, you can't stagnate like that. It's it's bad.
Yeah. It's like, not having the mixture of the thing. And it is, I think that part of capitalism is be able to mix things up and change different things and find out where the market is going. That is like some of the beauty stuff of capitalism. Like you see resources that are scarce and attach prices to it. Like
here's the problem. You have capitalism, and then you have what people can do with capitalism, and you can have some people really screw up capitalism.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people screwing it up to the point where you have more and more people saying, well, let's try the socialism shit because this ain't working. Yeah. Right. At least let's try something else, because what we're doing is, and so many people who are like so defensive of capitalism and hate socialism. It's like, great. If you don't want people to go get and try socialism or some other type of ism, post-liberalism or monarchy or whatever, if you don't want that, fix what we have now, because people are getting driven away because of it. And you don't want to fix what we have now. We have the highest wealth inequality that we've had since the French Revolution, probably. We're seeing now that the 80% of the economic output, or people buying stuff, the economic activity, is coming from the top 10 to 20% of the people in the country. Right? There's a whole bunch of people in the majority who are getting squeezed, and that's why populism rises, is because people know how to take advantage of that situation and convince these people that, the reason why it's bad for you is because of these people over here or these people over there, not the system's being manipulated by a bunch of people, right? So what do you do at that point, right? So you've got to, it eventually collapses because people start realizing that that's not the problem, because it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And then they see all these people on their yachts and they're the Oval Office with gold all over the place, like a gaudy Turkish thing.
It is.
I honestly love. I don't mind the gold. I think.
God, that's so God.
You have TDS.
That looks terrible. That
the
is
arch
awful.
Looks terrible.
The arch is, the gold looks awful.
You see the arch? Google the arch.
Man, what I really hope is when whoever gets in the White House next, just like landlord white paints over the top of it. Just like, I really hope someone does that. I also hate the argument.
I want to see somebody come in there and just like, we're going to be, the president's not going to be a king. He's not going to be an elite. He's just going to be somebody who does his job and he goes home. So he's got pictures of Kathy on his wall or something like that, or a couple Dilberts or something. And it's not like this big show, look at me, because that's what we got now, is we've got somebody who's just so childish. He has to have everybody look at him all the time and praise him all the time because he's so he hates himself so much, but he's also the narcissist completely. Correct. So it's a very bad combination. Yeah.
And with the people looking for socialism, like the whole argument, or like also like I will tell this, like a lot of libertarians, a lot of people, a lot of capitalists, like you have to elevate your game and your talking points. We're also talking with socialists, because they can't say like, oh, socialism doesn't work. Every word's been tried to fail. Incorrect. China is right there. The second largest economy in the world is right there. And you can't say it's dependent on America's capitalism. We're dependent on their social system.
Yeah, I would say when's capitalism actually succeeded, right? I mean, most of the things that succeeded inside of the capitalism is usually democratic socialist societies and things like that. It's like those are the ones that are prospering and stuff like that. We're not the greatest country in the world like everybody thinks we are. We have done a lot of good stuff, and I'm not knocking it. And we've come a long way, but we're also regressing a lot too with everything, and it's just so frustrating to watch.
Speaking of that, and we'll kind of end on this over the next 15 minutes. ICE has just killed another person in Minneapolis. I don't know if you saw this, but it happened right as we were starting the show here. Obviously, when stuff like this happens, this happened 45 minutes ago, so 50 minutes ago. So don't have a lot of details.
Yeah, we won't have any good details for a day or two. So
we don't have a lot of good details
speculation.
On Good, right. We do have video. There are a lot of people videoing it. So according to the New York Times, about 100 people were at a protest. Let me just kind of go through the live updates to give you what we know. 100 protests have gathered at the site where a shooting involved federal authorities was reported. Yellow caution tape surrounds the scene. Crowd gathered around yelling at them, so it's been escalating. The elected prosecutor, which includes Minneapolis, said that the scene must be secured by local law enforcement for preservation of evidence, which is a sign that maybe Waltz and these others are going to start holding them accountable. She said expected state agents to be allowed to examine the area. Minnesota officials have been excluded from federal investigations of Renee Good's death this month. Some residents have made their way to the scene as rapid response networks quickly sent out text messages. One local responder said he'd been shopping in a nearby hardware store when he got the alert and rushed over to the protest, saying Minnesotans are fed up with the presence of federal agents. And all this comes a day after, if you haven't seen the video of the protest in downtown Minneapolis, it was tens of thousands, maybe more, people marching through the streets in sub-zero temperatures. So
I was hearing estimates of 50 to 100,000. And they were not there just for a few minutes and left. They were there for hours in sub-zero wind chills.
Yeah. So Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota, a Democrat, said on social media that ICE must leave now so that Minneapolis police can secure the scenes. Basically what has happened is the shooting happened, and these rapid response networks are now surrounding the area, and there's tens of thousands of people gathering around a murder scene, which I imagine is cornering ICE agents if they haven't already fled. But it doesn't look like that. So it's kind of in downtown in Minneapolis. Tim Wall says that he called the incident sickening and says Trump must end this operation. Minneapolis and Minnesota have had it. Agents from Custom Border and Protection, a U.S. official with knowledge of the incident, tells CBS that a man is dead. Was at the Nicollet Avenue and 27th Street. So I'm going to show the video. So if you're, obviously, if you're sensitive, don't watch. We may actually not be able to show the video because of YouTube rules. So guys, why don't you go over to the chat and click the stats. I'm not going to show the video. You can look it up on Twitter. I'm sure we'll see a million different angles of this in the coming days. But I'll describe what I see, which is a guy is filming from inside, like maybe a cafe. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ICE agents and 6, 7. 2 or 3 have the man on the ground, and they're holding him down. And then another one walks up. So there's about 8 guys. When now there's 9 guys, and they have him down on the ground. He's clearly surrounded and overwhelmed. And that's when you hear a gunshot. And it is not clear from the video who shoots. One ICE agent told a reporter at the scene that the man had a gun. Although if they're controlling the scene and they're not going to let state officials in, there's absolutely no way to know that for sure. But he's clearly down on the ground and he is surrounded by people. He's struggling to not be arrested. So we'll get a lot of comply or die, and all my Tea Party friends will say he just should have complied and therefore murder is justified. I don't know. Rhinehold, we can't hear you. You're muted. But
what I'm looking at, what I've seen, and you can't tell exactly who shot or what happened, but what I've seen that really kind of disgusts me is that as soon as that shot happens, I have the sound off, so I can't tell when it happens, but I can see when it happens because all of these agents who are on top of him, they run away, they scatter.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, please. I mean,
because they don't have training for this. They're not trained for this. Like
exactly what I was about to say. So if you look at and I talked about the Renee Good in the last episode, but like The guy that shot her wasn't supposed to be standing in front of the car, and there isn't any police department from Indianapolis, Minneapolis, whatever, that would train you to stand in front of the car like that, because you might flee the scene and you might, like, these guys, right. If you look into the training that ICE people are getting, there was a reporter who just tried to sign up for ICE and they got like 5 minutes of training or something ridiculous. I forget what the story was, so please don't quote my failing memory, but the training that these guys are getting is very poor, and it really seems. And then you've got the guy who's commander in Minneapolis dressing in Klepper coats and dressing like a young Hitler with the Hitler haircut. And I keep arguing with my friend Mark. He's like, "Oh, come on, Spangle, you're better than this." I'm like, if the guy were driving Uber Eats and wearing a Klepper coat, I would just think he was weird. Mm-hmm. I'd think it was really odd that the guy that is bagging groceries at the grocery store, it was really odd that he had the black leather strap across his chest with the all the medals and everything, right?
Yep.
But this guy is actively commanding police state tactics where they're invading homes without warrants. They're murdering people.
Yep.
Like it, you used to have in Nazi Germany, they used who was the Horst Wessel? It was kind of brought up after Charlie Kirk died, but he was killed because Nazis and fascists would go into well-known communist areas, agitate, and then when they responded, then they had the justification to look at them and go, look at these communists, look at these communists.
Yep.
I don't really feel like those tactics are very far off from what's happening here. What is ICE doing in Minnesota? They're only ratcheting up the pressure on purpose.
Yep.
They really don't care if people get killed. I think we learned from Rittenhouse that a large group of people, like, not sad that guy died, but also like, why was a 17-year-old kid there to begin with a rifle? He's certainly not a hero. I don't know. It's if you view every human life as sacred, from an ICE agent to an immigrant and everybody in between, and all these different stories, to Renee Good, to the guy that killed her, like, you want your government to de-escalate. You don't want it to become more violent. It's everything that you would do that would make sense in terms of training, de-escalation, all the progress that has been made after Philando Castile and Breonna Taylor. All of that is completely eroded in the last year. I mean, it's not police departments doing it. They will eventually do it, but right now it's ICE agents who sign up to go and play cowboy.
It's a directive they have. It's the president and Nome have said to these agents, get rough with them. Literally have said that publicly, to get rough with them. And as I've talked to, and I was listening to Scaramucci yesterday at his latest release of on the podcast he has. He says that the people who are in ICE now, if they get caught not being rough, they could get demoted, lose half of their pension that they're trying to work for, right? I mean, they're in a bad state because they're getting pushed by upper management, by the administration, to do this, to be rough with these people. And it's not necessary. These are mostly 95% of the people who they are grabbing are not violent in any way. They're not criminal in any way. There's no need for it, right? They could get these people like Obama did. And Obama deported a lot more people, and he didn't have to do it through these thug tactics like a bully.
Right.
Yeah. The argument is, nobody protested Obama doing it, but also they weren't arresting American citizens on purpose.
Well, Obama didn't do this kind of stuff. If you look at the different tactics, Obama would get people at if they show up in a jail cell and they run their numbers, they find out they're illegal, then they would go and take them from there safely. They would go
set a
and
quota to denaturalize.
He wasn't going into towns. He wasn't going into major cities with thousands of people, overwhelming the police force that's there, and just stopping down through the neighborhoods door by door, knocking doors in to try to find people.
Marion County Jail just said that they're only going to hold ICE detainees for 48 hours because our jail is packed. We just built a new jail.
Yeah.
because of overcrowding, and it's full because of ICE detainees.
Yeah.
Like, I think Americans want, I think it's totally reasonable if someone ends up in jail and they're an illegal immigrant. They're drug dealers, murderers, rapists. We don't want those people here. We want them out.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the far left people who are like, find sympathy for those people. I don't understand it. But I think Americans certainly don't want, here's an example. We had to go get the birth certificate for our 7-month-old yesterday. They are out of paper at the Marion County Health Department because so many Hispanic parents are coming in to get documentation to carry with their kids. There's not a planet that I grew up in where I had to carry my birth certificate with me.
Yeah.
To school, to the grocery. Like,
you had a driver's license. You could just go, and if you get pulled over and you didn't have a driver's license, so you have to have it by this date to this place. So they would look up, see it was valid.
A period in your life where it was never having to carry a driver's license was controversial, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Well, not for
even having a driver's license.
It
used to be the big libertarian thing is you had to have a driver's license. I'm like, you can't tell me that I need to have it. And now it's like all these people who call themselves libertarians are saying we need to have voter ID laws and we need to make sure that everybody has rules.
I got the hard card. I got the hard card for Lucy, so she has a hard card.
The real ID?
Just the passport card, because there's going to come a time, the logical extension of Americans must be prepared to show their papers, which Christy Nome just said. The logical extension of that is that you need probably a passport card to travel and do certain things in this country, and it's fundamentally un-American.
They went through all this time when Bush was in and we had 9/11 and we're trying to, root out terrorism and make sure people are right. So they pushed this real ID through, right? They pushed this law through. It just there was a lot of fighting and there was a lot of kickbacks. And we don't really need it. And civil libertarians were fighting against it, and ACLU was fighting against it. And it finally got kind of put into place just over time and people wearing people down and forcing it through. Now that it's here, ICE is saying that they don't recognize that as being a valid identifier for whether you're a citizen or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap up. We're at time. Harry's got to go do dad stuff, and so do I. But and Rhinehold has to feed 18 dogs. It's 18, right?
No, ain't good. They eat like as much as 2, so each. So
I thought you were gonna, like, when you had an accidental litter of 9 puppies, you'd give some of them away.
There were 9 in the litter. We did give 2 away.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 to my sister and 1 to a good friend of my brother-in-law. And that's the only people my wife will allow these dogs to go to because she needs to make sure that they're going to a good home. And so she has to know the people that we're giving them to, and it's just a whole thing.
Yeah. That's cute, though.
It's okay. Spangle's a good person, by the way.
I don't need a dog. I just so big news. We'll end on this. I am under contract to buy a house, and I'm joining the cult of equity.
Yay!
Oh, it's just great. You join the cult of equity and immediately get a million things that you have to pay for and insurances you have to pay for, and it's all twice as expensive as it was 10 years ago. Yeah, well, I've always had to have a second job, but glad I have
maintaining
equity
your house will be. There's a comedian, if you watch on TikTok, and it's also on Facebook and stuff, like where he calls it F this house. And he just goes through all the different problems he's been having with his house. And it's like, how are you going to get me today? And he's trying to fix things. His pool, he's like, oh, we got a pool. And he said he's nothing but problems with that pool. It's always green. He's always fighting with it. It's just like, Yeah,
it's a nightmare. Yeah.
That's a great series. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I hope you enjoy your 50-year mortgage. You'll love it.
We did not go with the 50-year.
Mandatory.
Here's what I would say about buying a house. It is a lot easier than I thought. It's cheaper. It's like the house I'm buying is nice. It's perfect for our family. It's definitely a dream home for us. We're very excited. We have saved up enough cash to manage it, but there are a lot of surprise. Like the second you go under contract, there's a surprising amount of things you have to pay for. And then so you have to be prepared with more cash than you think. And I'm not talking like 10,000 more, like a couple thousand, 3,000 more. But The appraiser has too much power. This is the biggest, dumbest garbage thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. So we buy a house, we go under contract and we agree to buy it for 420. She listed it at 450. She came down to 435. We offered 415. We settled on 420. And so we go through all the rigmarole. Insurance for this house ranged everywhere from $2,000 a year to $11,000 a year. Insurance costs are astronomical and insane. So we get all that. But like at the end of the day, because we worked really hard and paid off a lot of debt this past year, that there's no car payment, so we were able to apply that to debt, because of the accident. We're in a good spot. Like our rent, quote unquote, is really only going up like $200 a month. Okay. And then we're adding on with PMI and a couple other things like $300-400 extra a month. But we've cleared the deck. We're like almost debt free. So we're good. So we're not freaking out about that part. Then we get to the appraisal. And the appraisal company hires an appraiser. And if you don't know the process, the mortgage company hires an appraiser to make sure that the house is worth what they're loaning it for. So they hire an independent appraisal company who then hires an independent, quote unquote, appraiser who doesn't work for the country. So seemingly there's all these like conflicts of interest can't exist, which is BS because that's not how humans work. If I ran an independent appraisal company and my buddy Harry and Rhinehold were appraisers, I'd hire them to do houses. Might as well just put you on the payroll. So we're buying a house in downtown Indy in a historic area. And what you have to understand about a place like Indy, or really any area, is you can go 5 blocks in either direction from the $1 million homes to the $50,000 homes. I mean, and when you live downtown, you want to live on the nice street because people really don't come from the like a block and a half away to mess with you. When I had something stolen out of my garage last year, it was 2 guys from a rural donut county who came into Marion County to steal from me because they know if they get caught, the prosecutor won't do anything to them. But we've never had any kind of problems. But boy, you buy a house in a nice historic street in Indianapolis, which is like the nicest street in Indianapolis. We're not in the nice part. We're like at the beginning of the nice part. It's very reflective of our economic. We're 1 block up from poverty. When you tell people where you're buying a house and they live in donut counties, they're not happy for you. They go, "Are you sure you want to do that? Oh man, you're gonna get. There's so much. Why would you put your family in danger like that?" I'm sorry, but you don't live where I live. I'm not a moron. I wouldn't put my family in a dangerous situation and buy a house in a dangerous area. And the fact that I live here every day, I work here, I work on the Circle, I have a podcast studio in Fountain Square, I live in Fall Creek Place, I have my little triangle. I work in all the most dangerous places you think where everybody's getting raped, murdered, doing drugs, needles everywhere. I don't ever see any of that. But somehow your experience, because you listen to talk radio and watch the news, that outweighs my experience, my daily lived experience, where I don't see anything you're talking about. If I lived at 34th and Crown Hill or 34th and Keystone, it would be a different story. But I wouldn't live there because I wouldn't put my family in that situation. And I feel bad for the people who do have to live there because they can't live anywhere else. But that's because of housing problems that we'll talk in future episodes. Yep. So when you buy a house in my area, you deal with a lot of ignorant comments that are rooted in concern, but really are just, I'm concerned for you because you're such an effing moron that you can't make the same decisions I made. You really should move out where you have no neighbors. You should move out in the suburbs with Harry or rural areas with Rhinehold. But you know, it just doesn't make sense why you would buy a house. Well, the house that we're buying has doubled in value in the last 4 4 years. So, and people want to live in an area where we're moving to because we want to live there. There's 7 people from our church on our block, right? So, going back to being neighborly, like people who live in these neighborhoods don't put up with riffraff. They don't put up with BS. They help each other take care of their houses. It's a neighborhood. It's the most neighborly place I've ever lived. You people who live in the suburbs spend all your time in traffic, pull into your garage, walk into your backyard, and you never know the name of the people that live next to you. That's not how it works here. We park on the street. We run into each other. We say hi to each other, watch each other's kids. Reagan just baked bread for the neighbors who lost their job and took it over to them and talked with them for an hour. Like it's an experience that I never had living in the suburbs the last 4 years living downtown. It's the neighborliest place ever. You know, Donna, the 75-year-old black woman who lives next door, you know, let me see if I can pull this pillow, you know, made this pillow for Matthew. You know, his little turkey pillow. She makes a blanket every year for our 3 kids. And then, you know, Miss Kim, who unfortunately passed away, she moved from Seoul, South Korea. It's like a very blended area, people with different backgrounds. I'm sorry, if you live in the suburbs and you have an opinion on city living, you're probably a moron and you're the idiot. You're the ignorant one. Just shut up. So when the title company the mortgage company goes to hire an appraiser, and they hire people from someone that lives in the suburbs to come and evaluate our houses, they inevitably evaluate it $40,000 to $20,000 lower than it's actually worth. It's a very common thing that happens in the areas we're in, apparently, because they come down and they do a comparable 3 streets over in a part of town, and it's not comparable. The street's not comparable. It's just. And then when the appraiser says it, it's just that's what it is. It's like DCS. It's like if the guardian ad litem thinks you're the bad parent, doesn't matter what the truth is. The guardian ad litem, the appraiser, these independent people that government or big corporations hire, it like, and then the things that must be fixed to be granted the loan, scrape paint off of a back porch in 2-degree weather and restain it.
Yep.
The person lives in the house, move things out of the basement. Well, no Sherlock. Of course they were going to do that. So it's just like the laziest person walked through that house who doesn't respect the area or understand the area. Now it benefits me. Okay. It benefits us because we're going to save a few $100 a month off of our mortgage. But it's unfair to the homeowner who loved this house really well, took great care of it. It put the buying process where we don't know if she's going to drop her price. We're praying she does. We love the house. But it's just it's just bonkers to me that someone can be bad at their job and have so much power. But that just seems to be like the MO of corporations and government and presidencies and Congress. And it's like we just have no standards. No standards, Rhinehold. And rant. All right, I'm done.
Don't worry. The county assessor, when they assess you for taxes,
yeah,
they'll know your true worth.
$475, right? Yeah, because they can't raise taxes because in Indiana we have home rule, so Marion County can't raise taxes. So the only way they can raise income is by overassessing the value of your home.
Abdul called it a decade ago that they were going to do that. Yeah.
Yep. Here we are. So
don't tell him that. Do not tell Abdul that. Do not tell he was right.
I know he doesn't.
What's funny is watching all these little places change, because I was at a friend's house last night. They were out of town. And I was going to turn off their water so it froze. You know, so I emptied out the pipe so it didn't freeze while they were gone. And across the street, and this is a neighborhood where the house is usually around $40,000. Old neighborhood, old houses with like 10-foot ceilings and everything else, but kind of in the bad states. But the houses now are in that area are going up, like they're like $250,000. And there was a house across the street. There were 2 houses next to each other. One of them burnt down. They tore the other one down, and now they're building 3 duplexes in that spot. And the people who are living there are not too happy about duplexes going in because now that's rental property, right? And they just got their houses now that they had when it was really, really cheap, and now like 5 times the price, and they can make a bunch of money off of. They're going to see those properties go down again probably. So it's just weird on that sort of thing. It's just a block means a difference in this in cities like that.
You're not owed a price of your value. You're not guaranteed unless you want the government to come in and guarantee the price of your house, which apparently a lot of people do for some odd reason.
Rent control is the most easily discredited economic theory in American history.
Yep.
And still people are like, please set our rents. It makes everything way more expensive.
Yep.
And housing over and over and over.
Yeah. Housing isn't really an investment. It's not supposed to be. It just turned into it. You know,
it was because we had no other way to do it, especially like, as soon as you start having interest rates that are zero, which is what this president wants us to go back to, that's free money for rich people, for organizations and companies and things like that. They can now borrow money for free and play with it, right? You can't, but they can. And there's no incentive to save any money because you can't get a savings account more than 0.5% interest. What's the point in doing that?
Well, why save money if
where do you get your money? You put it in. Right. Well, people can't. Companies can. You know what I'm saying? Or rich people can. Poor people cannot. Poor people get screwed every single time.
Well,
you're talking to somebody that is an idiot with money who has saved money.
So
can save money,
right? But you're doing it. But you do it a different way. You're not doing it through like when my parents were growing up in the 60s and 70s. You did that by saving money in savings accounts, right? When people were complaining that the interest rate in the early 80s and late 70s, early 80s was like 21% or 18% just to buy a house, you had 8-9% savings accounts where you could, if you had saved the money up and you weren't buying a bunch of stuff, if you pay off your mortgage, then you could save money and it would be worth something. And now you can't do that. You have to go into a 401k. You have to go into property. You have to go into assets. You can't go into any other way to save money or make money in this country anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Harry, finish up.
I was just saying, like, the saving things is like, and that people being ignorant of savings is why a lot of people can't pay their student loans because of like the rule of 7. A lot of people aren't used to that. But simple fact. So, like when Rhinehold was growing up, you have that whole savings account. You could put money away. So if you put $100,000 away, you could get some interest in about 5 to 7 years, which is double in a little basic high interest like savings account. Not too much the case much anymore. But that's also why some people can't pay back their student loans all the time because they're like, well, I deferred it. I'm paying the minimum payment. I'm like, listen, that's a 30-year repayment, doctor. You don't pay that off in like 7 years. That's going to double on you. You know, that's why you can't pay it off because all you people are out there like, I paid the minimum. You idiot fool.
And they'll let you defer it for a while. Then when you can't defer it anymore.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, fellas. Thanks for being a part of this. And thank you for listening. Please stay safe. You're probably listening to this in the middle of the storm. And hopefully it's not too bad. And hopefully it's not too bad where you are. And everybody stays safe and nobody loses their life. And I just want ICE to kill less people. All forms of ICE. That would be the dream. But here we are.
Would be good.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon and see you again here on the Chris Spangle Show. Or We Are Libertarians, whichever.